Live that we have got this afternoon. I know I'm going to be accompanied by these three amazing ladies, and we're going to be talking about mentoring, and particularly from the perspective of mentees. So, why have I got these three wonderful ladies in front of me? Well, they've all been nominated for the Thrive with Mentoring Mentee Award of the Year. And so I'm absolutely delighted to be surrounded by these just amazing ladies. So I'm Emily. And I am the project manager for the awards ceremony that's going to be taking place on the 30th of May. So I'm super excited about that, and delighted to be here today having this conversation. So maybe if I could ask you all just to briefly introduce yourselves so everybody gets to know you, and then we'll dig in and start talking about your experience as mentees. Shall we start with Adriana?
Sure. So I'm Adriana. I'm based in Switzerland, Zurich, and I am now 2 years doing my own solo entrepreneurship, and I'm from business development and marketing background.
Perfect. Okay. Elisabetta?
Yeah, so Amelie, I'm also in Switzerland, based in Basel. I am in transition, but also a coach, so doing quite some coaching and volunteering.
Oh, fantastic. Forward to hearing all about that. And finally, Mange.
Hi, my name is Muge. I am based in Edinburgh in the UK, in Scotland, and I'm a marketing professional with about 20 years of experience, mainly in B2B, but in the last 2 years I'm working as a consultant, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting.
Perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Okay, so our theme this year for the annual awards ceremony is around lift, so our moment of lift. And having been both a mentee and a mentor in my life, I can truly tell you that this really is a moment of lift when you're part of a mentoring program. Whether I'm the mentor or the mentee, I've truly been lifted by other women during these moments. So what I've done is that I've used this lift as an acronym, and we're going to start with L, start with lift, and we're going to start talking about listening. Now, as an experienced mentor myself, I know that the art of listening is absolutely critical here. So what I'm going to ask you all is, at the start of the mentoring relationship that you had with your mentor, what made you feel really, really heard? Let's start with Muge.
Sure. My mentor, she listened very carefully. I felt like I'm understood because she reflected back on what she heard. And that was really powerful because at that point I was able to understand someone else's perception on the situation, and which made me think differently. So I think that was what she was very strong at and really helped me understand better.
And that moment of reflection is so incredibly important, because when it is reflected back to you, it sounds different, doesn't it? Because,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then you think, is that really what I said? Is that really what I mean? Yeah. It's a huge awakening, actually, when that's reflected back to you. Great. Okay. The same question to, should I call you Ellie or Elisabetta?
Yeah.
Ellie is good.
It's good. Yeah, everybody Ellie, so that's good. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
what about you?
For me, it was the presence. So it was a bit what happens in coaching. Again, you enter in this safe space, and then you start from a point, and then you move. I mean, you have a sort of a big idea where you want to go, but how you go there, it's a bit up to the question, to the presence, and to the listening, to the giving back from the mentor what you are saying, basically in different words, mirroring. So I could really tell, okay, she's really there. She's really, it's 40 minutes, 50, 1 hour, but she's really, it's my time. She's really concentrating on me, focus on me. So that was this presence that I felt. Actually, we had all our sessions virtual, but I could like feel, okay, we are in a coffee bar, in front of each other. So it was just great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something that always surprised me actually, and it sort of came about during COVID. So I did a lot of my own coaching and mentoring face to face, and it amazed me actually how well it translated onto screen, and that you really felt, in a physical presence with somebody, even though you were sort of sitting remotely. So that always amazed me how well that worked. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's ask Adriana the same question about the listening skills of your mentor.
Yes. So my mentor Anya, she also had coaching experience before, so I think that's helped. Like, so she really was active listening and also proning and challenging some of my statements. So we managed to go deeper. It's not only like staying at the surface level, but it's really like when I would say some statements, when she would reflect back what I say, okay, then afterwards we go deeper, and that helped us, to really go beyond just initial thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, it's
And
that listening for. Sorry, carry on.
yeah,
Sorry, I
and that's
interrupted you.
I think that's really helped, like with listening and being present, and really so much yes, there, like this moment that we could discover more. So it was an act of discovery, because she created that space for me as well.
Yeah, great. Sounds like you had a wonderful experience. Okay, so shall we move on then to the next question? So the second letter is I. So investment in yourself. And I'm so proud of all of you for investing in yourself. This was something that I didn't do as much as I should have done when I was earlier in my career. And without question, now it's full of regret, I have to say. And if I could have turned the time back now, I would definitely have invested in myself much more than I did in reality. So I've got a question now. So what did you do with the input and the feedback or the conversations that you had? And how did you invest in yourself over those 6 or so months? So what did you actually do with that input and that feel? I'm sure you got like a wealth of information, whether it was guidance, whether it was, advice as to what to do. So what did you actually do with that? Let's go to Ellie first.
Yeah, for me, it was it was not just, nice to reflect on and then, leave it there, but it was more, okay, how do I put this in practice now? What shall I do with this input? And sometimes, when we celebrated the end of the mentorship program, we had this, how was your mentorship program represented in a picture? And my picture was basically a series of pencils, like all different colors, because it was really, every session was different. So I had practical tips. Sometimes we just like meditated together. So it was really, a full Monty experience. And it is more what you do with this, sometimes, as I said, if it is practical, okay, what shall I do with this? Like, okay, CV building, fine. I redo my CV. How you pitch yourself, going in front of the mirror and exercising. So it was not, okay, I reflect on that and then I leave it there, but it was really to make this input live, basically. And that's, for me, was the right investment to do.
Yeah, and it's having that accountability, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That that you're going to meet up again in a month, and oh, whoops, I haven't really done very much. Because what she's sharing with you is really an investment in you. To try out these tips and tricks, right? And some things land very well, and some things don't. But that's feedback in itself, and it just sort of supports your growth. Absolutely. Okay, so Muge, next? How did you manage all of the feedback that you got?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely listened to the feedback, and I was given lots of homework, and I've done all my homework. I was a really good student. And I think the important thing was I was ready to change. I've taken everything, I've taken all the input, and I think that was the key. I talked to lots of people who were thinking about joining this, and I said, unless you're ready to change, this is not going to happen. It's not just a conversation that you have in those sessions and boom, something will happen magically, you know. And I trusted the process and my mentor. That was really important, I think. Before this, as you said, I wasn't prioritizing my own personal development enough. So this has changed the mindset for me.
Yeah, great. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm absolutely delighted to hear. As you say, this moment of change, it is about this transformation, because that's the journey that you're going on. And in fact, you know, sometimes I start either coaching or mentoring sessions where people are actually, you know, I ask them, what are they fearing about this experience? And it is the change. And it is a huge, you know, fear for a lot of people. How am I going to change? Am I going to be thinking differently? What happens, you know, if I start doing things differently? You know, what will my friends say? Or, you know, whatever. And this can actually be a huge fear. Absolutely, but it sounds like you overcame that, and because of this willingness to change, the willingness to take on this feedback that you received, and obviously used it to its good advantage. Okay, so Adriana, what about you? How did you use all of the wonderful tips and tricks and information that you got from your mentor?
Yeah, so for me it was at the right time, because I was at the transition from the corporate role, from job to really being self-employed and creating my own business, and that's really then I was vulnerable. I had a high level of self-doubt, and that was really the time when we focused on 3 areas. One was about the shift of identity, of really that, okay, I am new in the business, but I'm not new in my expertise. So this is kind of a level of help to shift that, okay, with more self-trust that I know what I'm going to do. So I'm not starting from zero on everything. Second was about visibility. That's part of it. So really being more active, doing parts. So this was more about, she gave me homeworks and also challenged me of doing it. Till the next time, let's get this done. And that's helped with this accountability to get this done. And the third one was for me about the sales approach. I was really thinking, okay, the sales I was dreading, and then as being now solo entrepreneur, it's part of a daily life, and it was reshifting, making this big shift of okay, this is actually about giving value and relationship building. So I no longer dread it. So it's from this big fear. It's actually helped me to bust the myths and change a bit of the mindset in this one.
Wow, it sounds like you got some amazing advice there and guidance. Yeah, absolutely, which has made a huge shift in you, in the way that you do things and the way that you're reframing. I think it's the reframing. And having gone through a similar experience myself recently, gone from corporate where I was there for 30 years and now setting up my own business. So I can feel all of those struggles that you've had and things that I've had to personally overcome as well. Yeah, so it sounds like she was able to share a lot of insights there, which have helped you grow, right? Super. Okay, so let's move on to the third question then, which is F. As part of lift. So this is forward. So this sort of shift, we've been talking about shifts already, but maybe there was a particular moment when you felt that something really shifted or moved for you in how you were thinking, or maybe how you were talking, or how you showed up. Was there one sort of pivotal moment or pivotal piece of advice or tip or guidance that you really felt was pretty pivotal? Okay, so let's go back to Adriana.
Yes, so for me as well, it was a moment when I used to plan very well. In my career, I knew how things going, and this is the journey of really uncertain. And for me, the shift was happening that after some sessions in the middle somewhere, I started to figure it out. It's more about I don't need all the things to be clear, like that I know exactly the steps. It's more of this self-confidence and the trust that I'm on the right path, that I have things going in the right direction, and I will manage them as we go. So this was this kind of this big shift of, okay, instead of like holding on to say specific action steps, is more of a self trust of I will figure it out no matter
I
what.
love that. That messy middle, that's what I call it.
Yeah.
That messy I have many, many messy middles. And in fact, I'm in the middle of one right now. So I can totally resonate with you. But it is trust the process. I think, Muge, you also mentioned that. It is about trusting the process. And you are in this messy, this really, really messy middle. It's very muddy and murky, and it's uncertain. It's not very transparent. But learning to hold that and live with that, and know that what you're doing step by step, it's like having this big mountain in front of you. But if you break it down into all these little steps, and this is where, somebody, sitting alongside you, like a mentor, can really, really support you. And it's hugely, hugely beneficial. Absolutely. Just help you sort of see through the, this thick forest, and actually you can see the wood for the trees. Okay, super. Ellie?
Yeah, for me it was a lot of little shift, and then you actually don't realize how much your boat is sort of pivoting or shifting, because it's little change, little change, little change, little change. So if I had to pick one, it was the moment I realized that a lot of little shift had happened, and then it was more, looking back and noticing, okay, but I started from here and now I am here. So in a way, she was always saying to me, you need to trust the process, and because I am someone who, I act really fast and I do a lot of things. And then I worked for a long time in corporate, where you do something and you have some effects, you can see, or at least the positions where I was in. And then I was expecting something a bit more immediate. But then that moment was when I realized, actually, a lot of things, have happened, and I have not even realized that all these things have happened. So that was the major shift, I would say.
Yeah, perfect. So for you, it wasn't sort of the epiphany moment. No, it was these little stones that we were talking about that you just break down this big mountain. And, having somebody to support you in doing that is just so incredibly beneficial, because often you can't see it. You can't see the achievements that you've made. And, when you arrive at your next session, the mentors often point that out to you because you haven't seen it, or you haven't certainly rewarded yourself.
Absolutely.
Certainly going back to this messy middle, you just think, well, I'm still in this mess. So, there's no way I can pat myself on the back. But actually, breaking down some of these little stones is something to really commend yourself around. So having a mentor to help you do that is wonderful.
Yeah, and if it's not only seen, but it's making you feel,
Yes.
feel the achievements, because seeing, okay, I have done this and that, but it's feeling, it's really a different, a different thing.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yeah, the feeling, because often if it doesn't feel right, or something feels awkward or uncomfortable, we don't do something. So that feeling of liberation, isn't it? It's almost like getting wings, I think, that you can actually fly and actually move towards your goals. Super, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing. So Muge, what was your shift? Was it little tiny stones?
There were lots of them. There were lots of them, but one of them really stood out. And that was about networking. I didn't like networking. And after talking to lots of women, I realized I'm not alone. There are lots of people like me, I felt very intimidated, meeting new people, or asking for something. So my mentor wanted to work on that. very wisely. And I am based in Edinburgh, and Thrive wasn't existing in Scotland. I joined the London cohort, and my mentor was in London. She said, okay, I had 2 contacts in Edinburgh I'm going to put you in touch with. And she did. And I was like, what am I going to do with these people that I have no clue about? I have no connection apart from knowing one person in common. But I've taken it on board. I met these 2 women, and they were lovely. And I talked about who I am, what I've been going through at that stage, and Thrive being part of it. They did the same. And I was talking about my experience at Thrive that I really enjoy. And I'm constantly at that point at the receiving end, gaining lots of benefits from that. And I said, I'd like to give back at one point. Maybe I'll bring that to Scotland. And they say, if you ever decide to do that, let me know. And fast forward, we launched Scotland cohort, and those 2 women, joined as mentors. And so
that's how the networking works.
I know. So that was the moment for me, because I was like, okay, I didn't know these women at all. I'm meeting them for the first time. I have no expectation whatsoever. And what's going on? Networking works. So that was the shift for me.
It does work. Fantastic. And just out of curiosity, I mean, that is just such a delightful story. And yeah, you need to get that all over LinkedIn, I think, as a host. This success story around networking. Most of us, I would say, don't enjoy networking until we understand what we can get from it and the joy of, getting from it. What I'm curious to know is, was this something that your mentor had observed in you that you didn't like networking, or was this a goal that you actually brought to the session yourself?
She observed. That was my goal. But I think in order to achieve my goal, I had to work on that as well. And that was another homework that she has given me all throughout that 6 months journey.
Yeah. So how wonderful is that she observed that? So the first question that we had was about listening. So she was listening and observing certain things that were challenging to you. And it's going then back to the root cause. What's the root cause of this? Oh, you feel uncomfortable doing networking, but that actually, if you do start networking, good things can come from it. If you tackle it and reframing. I'm assuming that she really helped with sort of like reframing, right? Reframing what it is, what it's about, how positive things can come from it.
Absolutely. She reframed my perception of networking, totally changed that. I enjoy networking now. So brilliant. Unbelievable.
This is going to be our next LinkedIn Live. It's all going to be the story of networking. Watch this space, folks.
I know.
Okay, so we haven't got too much time left. So T, the last word of lift. So takeaway. So what are you taking away from this wonderful experience? I mean, we've heard so many amazing stories here. It's just so uplifting. I mean, it's just a wonderful name of our award ceremony. So what are you taking away from the experience that you really didn't expect at the start? So Muge, if we go back to you.
Oh, yeah. So that's related to that, the confidence to start something. And we launched Scotland. I wasn't expecting that at all. That was total surprise. I didn't expect to, say this sentence out. I enjoy networking now. Big shift, it was just unbelievable. There are lots of them. Honestly, I'll take too much of your time if I put them one by one on my list, But I think it's not just career. It's how you show up in general, how you perceive the world, and that everything has changed along those lines.
Yeah, what a delightful story. Wonderful. Adriana, how about you? What's your big takeaway?
For me is I started to less overthink and take more faster the action. So it's really like if I see what I want, it's even the first efforts will be messy. It was also about really being out there, more visible, or attending events, being speaker, like all the LinkedIn. So it was a journey, and also even a sales process. So it was, but instead of thinking, okay, what should be the perfect picture, and then I would do, it's more about actually going there, doing the action, and then figuring out on the go with the feedback I received. So it was a bigger change of how I operate.
Wonderful. Super. Ellie.
Yeah, for me, the takeaway I was thinking is really appreciation, actually. Because for someone like me, I am really fast in doing things, and then I think even more, and then I do even more. So it's like, a circle. And with my mentor, I really learned, okay, appreciate every single, pause and think and appreciate every single step on the way. It's like a journey. It's like, you decide to go around the world and stop in different hotels. A hotel might have really, a really nice view, another one really good food, another one really, I don't know, good, nice, super nice bedrooms. And every time it's really, okay, what have I taken out of it? And I really appreciate it, and not think, okay, if I haven't had like 10 actions now, then that's nothing, because it is always something. So there is always something really great there. So
Wonderful. These are all just such amazing stories, and I love the hotel analogy there. I might steal that one. I love that. Okay, so we've got no seconds left, but I'm going to ask you anyway, just really, really quickly. So if someone was listening and they're thinking whether or not to sign up to be a mentee, what would you say? What would you say to them? What would your encouragement be? What would your piece of advice be? So if we could have one sentence per person. Ellie, you first.
Just do it. You don't need to be ready, and it doesn't need to be perfect. Just do it. That
Perfect.
would be my advice.
Yeah, totally endorse that. Ruge?
I was exactly you a year ago. I would say do it as well. And it's not just a mentoring relationship, that joining that community, incredible supportive women, and feeling not alone. That's very important. And if they are not sure, get in touch with me. I'm happy to chat. I love networking now, so
Yes,
I'll be happy to meet you as well.
Perfect. And Adriana?
Yes, it's more like about go for it. If you feel like you are stuck, or like you are want the even second opinion, somebody like the seeing the blind spots. This is really the time of really for the growth, and the mentor and the community is there. So it's really don't be afraid of. It's actually will open the new horizons for you.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all your amazing stories of growth. It really is. They're just so incredibly encouraging, and all within Thrive with mentoring community, which I can't endorse enough. I've been part of this community for a number of years now, and it never ceases to amaze me, I have to say. And so whilst you do have these one-on-one relationships, there's clearly community around it as well, which is just amazing. And obviously we'll all be going to be meeting on the 30th of May, and I wish you, all three of you, all the best of luck. You're all nominees for Mentee of the Year, and I truly wish you all the best. And if you're there on the day, so looking forward to meeting you there. So I encourage anybody that is looking for something that's really, really incredibly uplifting and an absolutely fantastic evening to come to our award ceremony on the 30th of May in Zurich at the Mandarin Hotel. We can't wait to see you there, and we'll be sharing even more of our stories. Have a wonderful afternoon, ladies. It's been absolute joy talking to you all, and I just feel incredibly uplifted. I already feel taller just listening to your wonderful, wonderful stories. So thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure being
Thank
here.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good luck, everybody.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.